That's them in the corner. That's them finding their religion, The View, turning to Christianity. And just a day after Whoopi Goldberg came out and admitted she's in the files. Yes, those files. And we're here to tell you, folks, you can file this under More Corruption in Hollyweird. Today we'll tell you why celebs are strangely ready to ask you to forgive them. And don't look anymore. Leave those files alone. It's The View under our microscope today. Hip hip hooray, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel that continues to give you the news you need to know, and before the drive-bys even get a sniff of what we're about to say. Tomorrow's headlines on the way right now. As we dive in, click the like button, drop a comment, and if you see the hype, well, the time is always ripe to hit that hype. Folks, they're finding religion at The View, and we know why. Get ready. This is one of the spiciest things we've covered. From The View, Mark Wahlberg and Jonathan Roumie discuss teaming up for an inspiring mission to keep the faith with their Pray 40 Lent Challenge and reflect on the role of faith in their lives. I'll play just a clip of this. This is not the story as much as we love it. And by the way, The View typically not doing this sort of thing. But what you need to know is this came on one day after another headline landed. Here is The View finding their religion.
So you're both here to kick off the Hallow Apps Pray 40 Lent Prayer Challenge.
Notice Whoopi, folks. Hang on a second. Whoopi is leading this in.
So you're both here to kick off the Hallow Apps.
What? I'm not going to say anything. Whoopi, we see you. Okay, I'm just going to. Whoopi, we see you.
Pray 40 Lent Prayer Challenge. Can you explain to everyone what that means to each of you?
So I guess I'm taking that.
You can start. I'll respond.
Yeah. Right. So Pray 40, the Hallow Pray 40 Lent Challenge is basically an opportunity for us as Christians and even just people curious about the period of Lent to return back to God, to find.
All right, that's enough of that. Okay, folks, we go out there and support it. You know, good for them. This comes one day after something else, though. And I don't want to take anything and you know, because it's easy for us to take a good thing and to sully it. And that's not the goal here. But I just want you to know, The View has been having a heck of a time, okay? The day, when they made this announcement with Wahlberg and the other guy, Roumie, that came one day after this. Watch this, and maybe The View is trying to run away from some real controversy. Here's what happened the day before.
Now, in the name of transparency, can you put up my name is in the files? Yes. And what does it say? It says, Whoopi needs a plane to get to Monaco. John Lennon's charity, it should say Julian Lennon's charity, is paying for it. They don't want to charter, so they're looking for private owners. Here's the info. And they give all the information, and they're saying, do you want to offer your G2? Okay.
And it looks like they said no thanks.
Yeah. So in other words, anybody can be on this list.
Well, this is my point, because I'm telling you, when I tell you people are trying to turn me into, I wasn't his girlfriend. I wasn't his friend.
You were too old for him.
Now, I want to go back. There's an important part to this clip. Now that you've heard all that, okay, and you can go watch the full thing, I want you to listen. What were the first things that Whoopi said?
Now, in the name of transparency.
In the name of transparency. And you'll notice the day after this, that's when they brought on a faith-based segment that I would say is exceedingly rare on The View, but we don't question anybody's faith, and we hope that it's earnest and honest. But culture, if it was all about transparency, why didn't we find out about this connection years ago? Go ahead.
And that was my question. You stole my question like you normally do. And that's the whole point, right? It's like, if in the name of transparency, why didn't you say this back when he was originally found guilty of doing very bad things to young people? Why wasn't this part of The View before? In the name of transparency, hey, look, I thought this was a good person. I wanted my organization and the people that represent me wanted to borrow this guy's plane. So, you know, in the effort to go to a charitable event, you know, we reached out and did all this. Why didn't she disclose that earlier, Pro? That has to be the operative question.
This goes back, culture, to the cover-up is sometimes worse than the crime.
Always.
You know what?
Always.
if they had just come out years ago and said, hey, this happened, I didn't have anything else to do with the guy, move on. Different story than now when she's like, I'm in the files. They're trying to take me down. They're trying to get me. And the next day we've got a faith-based thing. And again, I'm not questioning Whoopi's faith. I'm not questioning the faith of anybody on that panel. I hope it's earnest and honest. I love that they're doing that. That's great. But it's a little bit icky when 24 hours before we're finding out about the files. And then the next day, here we go. Jonas, am I just being a curmudgeon? Should I celebrate instead?
No, I think with Mark Wahlberg, there's probably some scheduling involved there as well. That would have been the day of that would have been pre-planned because it wasn't Ash Wednesday yesterday. So I do think that there probably was more of a focus on that than there would have been in the past. Getting somebody like Mark Wahlberg in there, that's probably
the calendar feeds into that, right? Yesterday's the day before was Fat Tuesday. You're going to have Ash Wednesday. The Hallow app is more appropriately presented on a holy day or a religious day like Ash Wednesday. So that's again, it's not just scheduling; it's also a day in the calendar. So.
Guys, you want to go even spicy? Ron's going to be like, I'm out of here, guys. I'm not staying with this. I got a channel to... Folks, how about we get a little spicier? Let's go back in time. Wayback Machine. You can tell because it's really choppy. Here's Whoopi, a long time ago on The View, talking about a certain director and defending that. Here we go.
Was not charged. I know it wasn't rape.
Yeah,
there is a
statutory.
Child molest, maybe? I'm not sure.
It was something. It was something else, but I don't believe it was rape.
All right, we can't even play it, folks. It's too spicy. But there's Whoopi. Culture, do you know who that director is?
Yeah, is she referring to the Polanski guy?
Polanski, yeah.
I mean, his crime was with a 13 or 15-year-old. I can't quite remember exactly. But
I'll just tell you, there's a lot of stuff going on here that I've had enough of it, and I'm ready for new people to be on TV. I'm just ready. I'm ready for it to go away. I'm ready for these people to go away. I want justice. But I would like to have people on TV and getting to listen to them that they're pleasant, they're kind, and they haven't had much time with this kind of corruption, whether they're directly involved or whether adjacent. Fair?
Yeah.
Fair. I go back in my mind to the clip of, I think it was Michelle Obama and how she was like praising Harvey Weinstein. I don't know how to pronounce it. Anyway,
Weinstein.
Weinstein at the time. And how many people in Hollywood were involved with that cover up that, like people knew. Who
was the famous actress who called him a god?
Was it Gwyneth Paltrow? I forget. There's so
was
many.
Was it Paltrow?
Oh, Meryl Streep.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. But people know. And I think there's certain things that are going on, and ever once in a while, the wrong person out of Hollywood gets invited, and then they, that person actually has a conscience, and then they out everybody, and it's happened, time and time again, and but yet this is another reason why it's a weird thing to bring up in this context, I know, but it's another reason why I don't think it's necessarily bad that AI is becoming more and more prominent, because it's going to give these Hollywood people an absolute run for their money, and they're so corrupt. I feel like it's just time for the entire Hollywood system to go the way of Dino Land in Disney World, to become extinct, because they all just cover for each other constantly until one thing is about them, revealed, and I could have said something about this 9 years ago when we all first were finding out about this in Whoopi's case, but I kind of decided to wait till Tuesday of this week.
Wayback Machine one more time. Here is the Meryl Streep clip we were talking about. Very briefly, folks, we got to just play a small snippet of it, but this is how they were acting about 12 years ago.
My agent, Kevin Uvain, and God, Harvey Weinstein.
How funny. How funny. So if you're wondering, Pro, why are you being so tough on The View? You know, they hosted some prominent Christians to talk about their faith, and they gave that platform. And I think that's great. But I also think that finding their religion now, and I think that moderating now after the FCC is on them, and after the names are coming out in the files, you know, I just think that we've reached that point of no return. I think there's an ickiness here that America doesn't need to stomach, and Disney needs to make some changes with The View, or just sunset it completely. Guys, what say you?
Well, we would be losing such an amazing cultural institution. It is filmed in the Bob Iger building in New York, and that did cost $4 billion to build. So, you know, you just got to think about the sunk costs, and still yet nothing of value would be lost.
Yep. One more time, here's the Whoopi defense of her name appearing, and not appearing in the way, by the way, where, you know, Trump or Elon, you know, they show up in the files and it's like they're trying to get something done about what's happening. And you can like them, you can dislike them, but that's, you know, but Whoopi's in there trying to borrow a plane. And that's fine, okay? Maybe she didn't know. But come out years ago and say, by the way, I'm going to be in those files when that happens. We still want them out, but I'm going to be in the files. I wanted to borrow a plane, blah, blah, blah. Here's Whoopi's continued defense.
Was with him. It's like, honey, come on. Yeah. Every man that I've ever been with, you've known about him because either the Inquirer wrote it about it.
Yeah.
Your people wrote about this stuff. So no, I never had this, you know, and
this is such a bizarre defense, and that's why it makes me think there's more to what's going to come out. Because the defense is, I never had a romantic relationship with Epstein. Nobody's claiming you did, Whoopi. Nobody's claiming you did. So what is this defense all about? I don't know, but
it's a weird claim, right? Does she know something we don't know yet? Is there going to be questionable images that are going to be out there in public with her hanging on this guy? I mean, you know, we've seen questionable images of other people hanging on this guy. So yeah, that seems like a bizarre, you know, nobody said you were situation. So yeah, it sounds like a guilty conscience if I were to analyze it more deeply. Do you guys agree, or am I crazy?
Maybe.
Good thing.
Why would you bring that up, Whoopi?
You know, it's always sad when one of these video ends, and yet it is the beginning of the wait for the next one to land. 4 times a day right here on the Pro Channel. And by the way, there's plenty more on our partner channels. That Park Place, That Pod Place, That Game Place, and go check out the original music we have on stations like Vacation Radio. We'd love to have you, love to entertain you. At least we'll do a better job than some of the current entertainment companies. Folks, like, share, subscribe, and you know what? Drop a comment right on down below. Share this out anywhere you go on social media. And until the next time, we have the honor, the pleasure of getting to spend time with you when you choose to invite us into your day to add the value that we hope to bring your way. We ask that you keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.